Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking on something pretty extraordinary, an ancient Gnostic text, the Pistis Sophia.
Yeah, it's a fascinating one.
But here's the thing. We're not approaching it in the standard mythological way, or even theological.
No, definitely not.
Instead, we're diving into this really radical idea, framing it as a coded scalar model of consciousness fragmentation, restoration, and return.
It sounds complex, but it's really about energy patterns.
Right. So think about the key symbols, like the fall of Sophia, or her light vestures, maybe the mysteries of the left and right. Imagine those not as stories about good and evil, but more like blueprints for frequency dynamics, for resonance, how consciousness works.
Exactly. And what's really, I think, mind-bending here is how this lens translates Sophia's fall. It's not a sin, not a moral failing.
Okay, so what is it?
It's described as scalar phase inversion, basically an energetic signature getting flipped upside down.
Flipped, like losing its fundamental frequency.
Precisely. And her cries. Those become dissonant waveforms seeking coherence. Just noise trying to find harmony again.
Wow. And the restoration?
That's seen as entrainment, basically getting pulled back into sync by a stabilizing carrier wave.
Which the text calls Christos.
That's the term used, yeah. Christos. So the whole thing, it's like uncovering this hidden instruction manual, a codex for scalar embodiment, for frequency alignment.
Okay. So our mission today is really to unpack how this ancient text viewed through this frequency and pattern lens.
Yeah, the scalar recursion idea.
What surprising insights does that offer you, the listener, about information, about energy, even about your own consciousness? All right, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So you mentioned Sophia's fall as scalar phase inversion. Can we dig into that a bit more? What does that look like energetically compared to just falling from grace?
Okay, good question. Forget the moral judgment. Think physics, or maybe pseudophysics in this model. Imagine a perfectly stable wave pattern, right? Phase inversion means it flips. It becomes its opposite, creating like destructive interference with itself or its source.
So it's an internal state of disarray.
Yeah.
Caused by being out of sync.
Exactly. It's not about being bad. It's about being energetically incoherent, out of phase with the original harmony or source signal.
Okay, that makes sense. And then her cries, the dissonant waveforms seeking coherence.
Yeah.
What does that imply?
Well, it implies an inherent drive towards order, even within chaos. Dissonance, like an out-of-tune note, naturally wants to resolve back to harmony.
So the cries aren't just pleas for help?
Not just pleas, no. They are the signal of the imbalance. They're an energetic output that, in a way, broadcasts the need for reintegration, for tuning.
Right. Which brings us to how that happens. You mentioned entrainment and Christos as a stabilizing carrier wave. What's entrainment here?
Entrainment is a real principle, actually, like pendulum clocks on a wall syncing up over time.
Oh, right. I've heard of that.
Yeah. Two vibrating systems influence each other and lock into a common rhythm. So here, Christos isn't a person. It's that stable, high-frequency reference signal, the carrier wave.
The anchor.
Exactly, the anchor. When Sophia's dissonant, fragmented energy encounters this stable wave,
it starts to resonate with it.
It gets pulled into sync. It entrains to that clearer frequency. It's like tuning a radio dial away from static to a clear station.
So the idea is the light does not teach, it tunes.
That's a perfect way to put it. It suggests salvation, if you want to use that word, isn't about doctrine. It's about harmonic synchronization, vibrational alignment.
That's a huge shift. And this connects to Sophia's singing, her recursive harmonic output. She goes from being prey to creating a scalar firewall. How does her output change things?
Well, as she starts to entrain, her own energetic output changes, right? It becomes more coherent, more stable.
She starts broadcasting a clearer signal herself.
Precisely. And this isn't just internal. It radiates outwards. By changing her own frequency, she alters the energetic environment around her.
Creating this scalar firewall.
Metaphorically, yes. A field of coherence that kind of pushes back against the chaos, protecting her and transforming the space. She becomes an active agent in her own restoration and environment.
Wow. Okay, so looking back, the Pistis Sophia, seen this way, it really does become less of a religious story and more like a detailed manual.
A manual for conscious waveform restoration, yeah.
Sophia's whole journey is then this powerful metaphor for how any fragmented system, any part of consciousness, can find its way back to source.
And if you take that a step further, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What if sin is just signal error?
And salvation is just harmonic synchronization.
It reframes everything. Like we said, the light does not teach, it tunes.
And Sophia's singing, her own output, becomes key. She stops being passive and becomes this active scalar firewall.
Yeah, altering the medium itself, which leads to this really provocative thought, something for you to consider.
Yeah.
If the fracture is not a flaw, it is the aperture through which light reweaves itself. What does that suggest about those moments of chaos or dissonance you experience?
That they're necessary somehow.
Perhaps, or at least potential openings. It makes you think. Without chaos, light cannot remember it shines. Without light, chaos cannot remember it dreams.
Definitely something to mull over. Until next time, keep deep diving.